Well, good afternoon, Long Haul Tanker, straight razor shaving with Long Haul Tanker, or dare I say, formerly known as Long Haul Tanker. I don't know. Today is September the 11th, 2025, 24 years anniversary from those dastardly events at the Twin Towers in New York City. It's approximately 1:15, that's 13:15 Central Time, and we're going to do a straight razor shave. I've got approximately 3 days worth of whisker growth on my face, and we'll move forward here with a straight razor shave. Today's video is dedicated not only to the 24th anniversary of 9/11, but also yesterday's dastardly assassination of Charlie Kirk. And we remember, my wife and I, my wife was shocked. I wasn't as shocked, but yes, I was surprised. I heard that there was a shooting. I heard that he was wounded. And then a little while later, I heard that he was dead. And late, we had a lot of work to do, and so we've been busy working around on the property and the house. My wife has her regular job that she must attend to, and so late in the evening, about 6 o'clock, we turned on the news and spent the rest of the evening watching remembrances, memorials. And the same this morning, I was anxious to see Steve Bannon's program this morning on Real America's Voice Network. And all very moving tributes. I'm anxious to get more into the details of this. I can't help but think, like the attempted assassination of President Trump last year in Butler, Pennsylvania, I can't help but think that this is a setup by Secret Service, by CIA. Oh, can I say that out loud? I don't know. Freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech. And so we stand with Charlie. We stand with Turning Point USA. His organization, and all of the principles. Especially do we stand for honoring Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as he was completely dedicated to doing. And I tell you, it's funny, almost to every person that I've talked to, granted I'm in Texas, but I've got some work going on here at the house. The workmen that I've talked to around the house over the last, since yesterday, are all, they were shocked. In fact, it was one of the guys that told me that he had been shot and wounded, and then he didn't die until just a little bit later. Anyway, so I'm not playing any music. I don't have anything particularly to say, except to all of those that are involved, from Barack Obama to the New World Order, right down to the Rainbow Mafia. I've said it before, go to hell. Every single one of you. If you are the slightest supporter of these aberrant behaviors, you are just as guilty as the person that pulled the trigger, because you lay the groundwork for the atrocities that happen. Name for me one conservative, one Republican that has been found guilty or participated in an assassination plot against anyone. All of these crazy shootings, school shootings, transgender shootings, the Nashville shooting at the Christian school, when you get right down to it and you get into their manifestos, and they always leave a manifesto, don't they? They're all perpetrated by these lunatic Rainbow Mafia, trans something lunatics. Anyway, that's all I'll say. Go to hell. I said it before, and I don't care. I get a little heat from time to time, from some of the folks that watch me when I talk like that. And it's been a while since I've gone off. But hey, justice is coming, and your blood will be required by somebody. Hopefully, legal justice is what I'm expecting and counting on. All right, let's get to the equipment for our straight razor shave today. We're using razor number 7 in my second leather roll-up, and this is the Philharmonica number 13 Jose Montserrat Poo, the Inox, which means stainless steel. I don't know if that's Latin. Is that Latin? Anyway, whatever. Honed up on the Shapton Glass series all the way out to 30,000, and just a lovely razor. And of the 4 Inox, or of the 4 Philharmonicas that I own, all of them are 13s. This is probably the best conditioned of the bunch, in the best condition. And so we'll get on to that here in a minute. And then the brush, Americana by, it doesn't have the name, and I wish it did, because I forget it. Shave Mac, there it is, Shave Mac. And if I had to do it over again, I'd not buy this brush. It's a 24 millimeter premium silver tip Badger. It was like 150 bucks. And it's too small. Anyway, put that back in the water. And then the soap that we're using today, this is the 3rd usage in a row of Alighieri, and I'll probably swap out after today's usage. Sterling Soap Company, and that's that. All right, let's lather up. So today's, as I said, shave is largely dedicated to Charlie Kirk in the memory of his passing. I had my shower last night after a full day's of work out in the yard, about 6 hours. Mainly just yard work, weeds, and hacking and spraying of some poison. With we're going to lay down a lot of rock. As the time comes, but we're having a lot of washout when it rains and the water comes down off of the roof. We don't have gutters. Now we do, and so the workmen have been installing gutters. And so when we started this part of the project, everybody's saying in order to preserve not having the washout, washing away the hard earth, clay, got to have the gutters. And then we're going to come back in a few weeks as we replenish the coffers. We're going to come back with the clay and the rocks to firm up this end of the house and all along I don't think they did a good job, because the rain as it runs off just was washing, especially this north end of the house. Yeah, north well, west end, north end, northwest end of the house. The clay and the rock was, and it was mixed too liberally with sand, from what I've been told, and that's not good. Again, from what I'm told, and so we're going to have rock and more of a clay-based. Anyway, I'll leave that to the people that know. And I only know what people tell me with this kind of stuff. All right, I think I will go with that. That's a good lathering. Now, one of the things that people are saying is that the left is trying to instigate a civil war, and they're making the point, and I agree with the point, that we're already at war. It has been a media war for the last little while, even 10 years, or even more. Most of my lifetime, Ronald Reagan, etc., media war. Do we really think that Walter Cronkite or Sam Donaldson were objective reporters of the news? Some in their time may have been a little bit less biased than they are today, but the years after reports on Walter Cronkite are not favorable. Not favorable. Doing a little wipe up around my sink and shaving bowl. All right, we're getting ready to start here. Lather's good. Beard is conditioned. 3 days of whiskers, or real close to it anyway. All right, let's go. Tomorrow, my wife and I are going to make a run down to the old house. We got confirmations this morning, or last night even, that there were scheduled showings today by the realtor with prospective buyers. I haven't heard anything at 9 and 10 o'clock this morning. I haven't heard anything back. I've been having some fun with my chainsaw on the property. As I say, I've got about an acre, a little over an acre. And we've got some trees where the tops have been blown out, pines and oaks and so forth. I reuse my lather. I've done that for years. Wipe my blade off back onto the brush and just keep using it as if nothing is there. And the shave has never been adversely affected by reusing lather. Yeah. One thing about being off up in the country like this is it is sure quiet outside. I haven't been outside to do any work yet. Today, I worked so hard yesterday, about 6 hours, and I had a hard time sleeping last night with a pain in my lower back and my hips, particularly my right hip. Oh, right. Very nice. And the scent on the Alligator is very pleasing to me, as are most of the scents on Sterling. So anyway, everybody has their preferences, but I hope you use and enjoy the Sterling soaps. Now, we just completed the first pass, which was always north to south, and now we're going to do across the grain from ear to mouth, from outside to in, starting with the right side, which means it'll be a left-handed got to learn to use the left hand. If you're right-handed, you got to, whatever your offhand is, you got to learn to use it. And I will say it did not come naturally for me to learn to use my offhand, but I just made myself do it. And here these 10 years later, I do just fine. You just got to stay at it. It's like straight razor shaving. You can't keep bouncing back and forth between straight razor, DE, cartridge. Well, I just can't get the hang of the straight razor. Well, you know why? You're not using it. Some guys will say 30 days, give yourself 30 days. That's fine. I've always said give yourself 6 months to a year. Why not? If you're wanting to learn to use it, learn to use it and stop playing around with it. When I made the changeover from cartridge to straight razor, I didn't fool around with it. I had no interest in the double edge razor, DE. It was, and quite frankly, yes, nostalgically, I suppose I see a certain interest because that was the next development, the next big development and transition from straight razor in vintage time before, and then the single edge or the injectors. That's what I grew up on, was the injector, like Alta. I don't even remember the names. Those are just prep strokes. They're cheating strokes, if you want to call it cheating, against the grain, like that. But those are just prep strokes till you're actually ready to do against the grain, and it's not as difficult then to get into the problem areas, like for me, right there under the chin. Okay, across the grain, done. Now we'll do the left side, which is a right-handed stroke. Slinging suds everywhere. Got some stuff up on the mirror. Wife would not be very pleased with that. All right, right-handed. Now, one of the guys that is on the work crew is supposed to be a master. One of these guys that cuts trees, trims trees, cuts trees, fells trees. And he knows I got this new chainsaw. And he says, do you know how to sharpen the chain with a file? And I said, I know that's the way you're supposed to do it. And I was going to watch a YouTube video, or more than one, on how to do it. He said, I'll show you. And I said, fine. And I've got a nice set of carbon steel files from large to small round. And everything I'm seeing about these DeWalt chainsaws is that they're supposed to take a 5/32 round file. Okay, I don't know. I know that I got a bunch of them, a handful. But out of the goodness of his heart, he's already dropped 2 big trees on my property. And I asked him for a quote on one, and he quoted me $200. Stand by a minute. All right, here we go. We're going to continue on. That was an interval pause of about a pause of an interval of about 3 minutes, less than 5 minutes. So anyway, carrying on. Well, I think they're coming back. Our workmen seem to have taken a extraordinarily long lunch on this Thursday. But I'm not paying them by the hour. I'm paying them for the job, for the contract. All right, that feels pretty good. All right, let's wipe it down and then we'll do sideburns and finishing strokes and off onto the head shave. No, that's good enough. All right. Oh yeah, that feels great. Feels very nice. All right, on to the head shave. We're not going to take much of a pause here, but rather just keep going. I'm going to get done with my shave here and probably put on some work clothes and go back out to the yard and get sweaty, necessitating a shower later this evening, which, you know, that's all fine and dandy. So it was just 3 days ago that I had on the last video, before the video, I did do a haircut with my clippers. Yeah, that's okay. All right. That feels good. So let's do the back of the neck and we'll call it done and move on. Yeah. So I'm going to put my brush, Shave Max. I forgot the name of the manufacturer. This Americana. Put it down in the water, let it soak, start soaking to get the soap out. And do the back of the neck. Something I've noticed on these shaves where I don't take a shower beforehand, I don't think anybody would deny that it's probably, I say probably, best to have a shower before the shave, but a good hot rag. Hot water, moisture, patting it down. This shave is not one bit behind those shaves where I've had a shower. And I've not had a shower this morning, and I'm having a beautiful shave. Head shave, face shave, neck shave. Not having any problem. The whiskers are nice and hydrated. The hair is hydrated. Now, I don't know enough about hair. As to how they absorb water, how they hold water and hydration. I don't know. But as I say, the proof is in the shave. And I don't feel not one bit cheated, one bit behind, as if I had taken a shower before the shave. So I know certain people like to make a big deal about, and I'm just not into. I know it's probably best, but I can't swear to it well, I'm not a professional. Let's start there. Barber, hairdresser. All right. Be right back. Just wiped my razor off, my Philharmonica 13 inox with my dry rag, and it's ready for final cleanup and stropping. I'm squeezing out my brush, soaking in the water, and we're going to do a little rinse off here with soapy water, lather water. Again, because of all the nutrients, all of the goodies that are in the lather are now in the water. I'm going to rub some alum block on my hand like that, back onto my face. All right. Okay, now, the next step here for me is throw on some aftershave, and we're just going to go with, you know what, wrong stuff. That would have been a good choice, but I'm going to go with Osage rub. It's a eucalyptus scent, and it just, and I got lots of it. I've got like 8 bottles. Because I'm going to go right back outside and get sweaty. I've paid my morning tribute to Charlie Kirk. My wife and I watched the Bannon program, the Charlie Kirk Hour program from 11 to 1 Central Time. Then came back and shaved. So I'm going to go outside and maybe do a little work and see how far I get. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. And I will see you down the road of time.